Yes, yes, y'all. Let's go. It's about that time again. It's Wednesday, something I look forward to actually every week, but I don't get to do with you guys every week. So sometimes I have Will being, in here doing song reviews with you guys. But today I'm back, baby. So I'm going to just jump right into it. I'm here to review songs from people on the mailing list. And I am going to be reviewing your songs for songwriting, arrangement, production, mixing, mastering. I'm going to try to give you tips. I'm going to try to give you tricks. I'm going to try to give you my advice from 23 years making records. Just as much as I can help you guys out. That's what this is about. That's why I do this. It's not to make any money or anything like that. I really want to connect with you guys. I really want to help you guys make better music. And I find that there's a big lack of information out there. And live song reviews, it's just nobody's really doing it. So I figured, hey, why not do it? Let's make it happen. So you guys, if you are on the mailing list, you got the opportunity to upload to the Dropbox folder some music tonight. And I'm just literally going to go through those submissions. And if you are part of the Radium Roundtable, which is basically $5 a month here, you get to skip the line. You're going to get your song reviewed every week. So if you're someone that makes a lot of music, like let's say you're cooking up stuff every week, you got 5-10 songs on deck that you're trying to put together for an album or whatever, it's probably the best deal in the world to have a platinum producer, Grammy, Oscar, Emmy nominated person looking at your music and giving you feedback live on YouTube. It's kind of a no-brainer thing, right? So let me know if you're here. Just drop a little comment in the comment section. And you guys, if you like what you hear and see tonight, of course, just contribute, subscribe to the channel, share the channel with people. Very simple stuff. Just be a human. Be a decent fucking human being. That's all I ask. You're like, yeah, I like this. This is dope. Okay, share it with someone. Like the video. Super, super basic, easy shit, right? I'm not asking you to go spend $8,000 or anything. I just want you to just share the video. Show some love, right? So let's go into the folder today and see what we got. I'm excited. I'm always hyped to see what you guys are uploading, what you guys are working on. Richard Roosevelt in the house. What's good, man? Richard always shows up. I like that. So I'm going to go into, another thing, you guys, when you come on these lives, this is really about networking and talking to people. There's producers out here, there's songwriters, there's artists, there's rappers, there's singers, there's so many people, composers, beat makers. People show up to this thing, but not only that, we leave it up on YouTube, so you get hundreds, thousands of people checking this out. So try to connect, try to put your name out there, try to drop a comment, try to say something intelligent, right? That's how you connect online. It's not by just sitting there and watching. It's such a powerful thing just to go, hey, I love this. I think this happened and that happened. And people go, wow, that's cool. That's a great comment. Plus, I like to pin the comments, the best comments at the top, so people see your name over and over, right? It's a really important part of networking online. And it's something that I think everybody needs to do better. All right, so let's get into this folder. Without further ado, I'm going to get right into the music and just give you guys feedback. Now, why am I qualified to give you feedback on your music? Well, I have a platinum record. I have Grammy, Emmy, Oscar nominated work. I've worked on stuff that has won Academy Awards. I've won Cannes Film Festival stuff for commercials, music and commercials. I've scored TV shows. I've scored films. I've scored hundreds of commercials. I've done records with rappers that are multi-platinum. I've done records with singers that are multi-platinum. I've worked with multi-platinum songwriters, and I make my living in music, and I own a record company. And yeah, so I'm just here to help you guys out. I'm not here to brag. I'm just letting you know. You have to tell people that shit online, or else they're like, who are you, dude? I don't give a fuck. Why are you telling me what to do with my music? So this is all about making music market viable. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is help you guys get closer to market viability, closer to your platinum record, closer to your Grammy nominated work, closer to the shit that you want to do, right? That's all I'm trying to do, is be helpful here, okay? So if you don't like it, you can fuck off, get out of here. If you do like it, show love, share the thing, like it, and talk to people, connect with people. Let's go. I'm not going to waste anybody's time here. All right, first up is Alex Faria, Simple Dreaming. You guys better have some fucking heat tonight, man.
The stars haven't looked the same now since you left and changed out, and it feels like we're chasing time. Kick back that space inside of that place where I go when I have lost my way. Lost my way, yeah. Searching for my rhythm and searching for the roots. Lights and it's showtime, I got me a groove. Oh, the peak of the nighttime has got me so low. Whether coast to coast or left to right I'll go. Or am I simply dreaming? I'm taking my time to get where I got to go. Right now I'm dreaming, you know. And in the deepest corner of my mind it starts to flow. Right now I'm dreaming.
All right, so this is an interesting track because I think up front I was a little bit interested up here, and then it just kind of started turning into where the harmonic content, the chords that you're playing on the guitar and the bass line and what you're singing in the melody, they're all just doing different stuff. They're not like tying together. They're not like complementing each other. They're not like the guitar's not, I guess, holding the vocal up, right? Like it's like so much movement, and I don't think that that's really necessary a lot of the times, especially in this style. It feels kind of like it has like an acoustic kind of songwriter vibe, and it's kind of floaty, like Fish records, if you guys know who Fish is. But it's just like the harmonic structure of it is just so confusing. I think the rhythm's changing all the time as well. Like the drums are like like the groove. There's no groove that comes in and like stays like happening, doesn't stay solid, doesn't stay solidified, and I feel like you're just kind of like meandering all over the place. And for me, and I think for a lot of listeners, they're just gonna be like, yo, I can't catch on to anything here. Like I'm actually pretty lost here. Like what's going on? You know? Like, there's no melody that's really, like, riffy. There's no catchy thing happening. I think, honestly, Alex, like, the best thing you could do with this is really just, like, strip it down to get a groove, and then the guitar have a good chord progression that you're not really changing a whole lot of rhythm with, and then start to figure out what parts you're going to change. Like, what are you going to do a different rhythm for the pre-chorus and then a different rhythm for the chorus? Just make sure you don't lose us, because I feel like you're kind of like patchworking it and it just doesn't sound right. The arrangement isn't effective for me. So I'm going to move on. Thank you for submitting. Appreciate it. Carl D's Pretty Ballerina. Let's go.
Let the dancing begin.
When I'm tired of kung fu movies and a cigarette, I think about the woman that I know I'll never get. I'm not like other men, but then again, maybe every now and then I beg. Everything to me.
Okay, I'm just gonna give my comments right away on this because I think it'll be helpful before we like listen to more of this. The panning style, don't think it works with this song. Panning the drums left, the guitars right, the horns, I don't really like see the picture of the horns. I think with a song like this, especially when it's so organic, like you have a band, you have horns, you have drums, you have live guitar, you have, vocals that aren't really tuned. It's like more organic. Panning like that is just really, really disorienting to a listener. I think especially in 2021, making a modern record like this is just, I mean, if you're going to make a modern record like this, I would save the panning stuff to something that would be like more soulful 60s kind of sound, throwback sound. This has more of like a ska, like Mighty Mighty Boss Tones kind of vibe, which is, yeah, it's a little throwback, but using like a 60s panning style does not really coincide with the idea of what this track is. For me personally, it's just totally throws me off. Like, I'm like, what is going on over there? And what is happening over there? Like, why are the drums over there in a different room? And then what's happening with the horn section? It just sounds skewed. So I think mixing this with a traditional panning scheme, put the drums up the middle, have the horns kind of in the back and like on top, and have it a section where it feels like it's in the studio with everything, and you can kind of glue the whole song together. And I think you won't lose, like your listener doesn't get detached from the song being like, what is happening? Because I think it'll be disoriented. And also, like, think about if it's playing live somewhere, or it's playing on a stereo system at a club or a venue or something, and you're like in the corner of the bar and all you hear is like the guitar going and you don't hear any drums. And then you go over here in this part of the room and all you hear is drums. Like, it's just going to be really, really awkward. I don't think it'll translate well. That being said, like, I think that you have a cool arrangement. The drums, the guitar, the bass, the vocals, the horns, it all works together. Like, you have good writing here. You have good arrangement, harmonic content. You have a good foundation and support. But as far as the mix goes, it's just kind of like I don't know. I think it's getting a little too creative. You know what I mean? You guys might have been smoking peyote or something while you were trying to mix this shit. I'm going to keep playing it, though, because I want to see what happens.
Grace and beauty tattooed on your leg. But what does it mean? Is that the one thing that you want for someone else to see? Or will it wash away? Maybe someday you can come and stay with me.
Leaves on the arena, chasing green leaves on the ground, asking for someone to hold us down. The music started.
Ballerina, what to do? I never loved someone like you.
Yeah, the stereo imaging is just, it's just no good for me, man. Like, you got a good song, you got some pretty decent players, you got some decent like writing and everything, and then you're just like throwing the thing like, woo, I'm gonna get super creative and pan and do all this shit, and people are like, what the fuck? Why? What happened? Where's the song at? Why's the drummer over there? And why's the vocal like panning over to the right, kind of? Like, it just doesn't sound right. It sounds weird. It sounds wonky. It sounds like it got screwed up. And I think that's, you're going to mess people up. They're going to be like, yo, somebody screwed this shit up. And yeah, it's not correct. It's weird. Yeah, I think you got a good point. Like, if you're doing the reggae snare pattern sort of thing, you know, like, but I don't really think that that's necessarily what he's going for. It sounds more like rock and roll, ska kind of vibe. Like, I know what you're going for, Carl. I just think the mix is just like, it's going to throw people off. I don't think it's going to sell it through. That's just my opinion, though. I've mixed thousands of records. I love mixing. I love the art of mixing. And when that style is done right, with like a 60s kind of doo-wop kind of vibe that's new school, it works. With the ska kind of like early 2000s vibe, like, it doesn't work. It just doesn't. All right, so let's move on. You guys liking this? Just throw a thumbs up, show some love, drop a comment, you know, ask any questions you got as well in the comments. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to talk and chat and, like, you know, listen to some cool music. Let's listen to this one. This one looks crazy, by the way. I don't know if it's just a beat or what, but like what is happening with the waveform.
Okay, Miss Vane, my homework is done. I'm handing it in. This is that boombox music. I had to do it to him. Yeah. So now my beats usually hit from Dover 21, but I'ma try something new this year. It's something fun this year. My year, I'm like a raisin in the sun. So why the fuck you need million boy bust like a gun? Mic check to the two, y'all still checking for the one. No snare, just air, Pino, and the blood. So what the fuck y'all niggas want? I'm so vain, so what? Insane, my brain, y'all lame. Don't front, the underdog gonna come up. The bricks where I come from, where niggas rock tees, Tim trees in the summer. It's the home of the hustler, so I'm always on my grind. Even though I packed up and put Georgia on my mind like I'm Ray, baby. Dark shades in the shade, crazy. Purple haze, sunny days, got my eyes lazy. It's like I'm stargazing, y'all star chasing while I'm universal. Go back, rehearsal, now let me clap for 'em. Recess is a snack for 'em.
Okay, it's not compelling enough for me to want to play this all the way through. I think like this beat really works. Like let the beat build, you know. Lil Wayne, like I've mixed Lil Wayne vocals, by the way. I have 3 sessions with Lil Wayne that I've mixed. But I'll tell you, like, the reason why this works on the Lil Wayne record is because he's got a really fucking cool voice, and he's got a cool timbre, and he's wheezy, baby, and he's got tons of swagger, and he's got tons of character, and he's basically like a weird fucking alien dude, like with an attitude and like can act, and he's fun, right? And he's a vibe, and he talks like hey, yeah, and he's got cool swag on the beat. This is just a bunch of sibilants, and it's just too straight, and it just doesn't feel that compelling to me. So I'm gonna move on. But you guys understand what I'm saying? I hope so. I hope you understand there. But it's a Wayne beat, 100%. It just throws it all off. It's like, yo, you can't be jumping on that unless you're just gonna, unless you get on that and you ride it completely different. Like, you do some crazy shit on it. But like riding that beat, like da 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 better side this, like riding it straight is just gonna be super whack. All right, Maurice Stringer. I remember when Mr. Rock, Ski, and it's mastered. Apparently, I always love when there's mastered in the actual title. I have high expectations and hopes for this song. Prove me wrong, Maurice. Let's go. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, like, I'll show you how long I would have really played this track before I would have just skipped it. Harsh as fuck, but it's the truth. It's reality. 1 second in, I would have been like, nope. See ya. The sounds aren't compelling. It doesn't sound good. It's not exciting. It's not enticing. The drums sound like... The drums are just whack. Like, the shit's whack. The sound design's whack. You didn't choose good sounds. Like, it just doesn't sound cool. Like, okay, skip. That's what I'm saying. Like, literally, people will skip a beat that quick. So I'm going to actually give you an opportunity here because I'm not a fucking asshole. And I'm just going to play it, you know, where this, hopefully this track starts.
Check Mike. I remember when I was broken drums, straight legs.
All right, to give you some feedback here, Maurice, I think it's best to not submit stuff like this to a YouTube channel where we're doing like reviews on songs until you get to a point where, you know, you're at least like got like people going, wow, you're really talented, you got some good shit. Because this literally sounds like something that, you know, I don't even want to be a dick, you know. I don't even want to say anything. Anyway, I'm going to move on. All right. Let's go. Mike, I got to hold my tongue on that shit, bro. Like, just go in on him. I don't want to do Maurice like that, man. All right, Michael Jarrell, Motrix. That's my guy. Let's listen.
Rise up, I've been to the fire, made it to the wire. I feel closer than I've ever been. Higher, I can feel the raindrops pouring, but I won't stop. No, don't forget me now. I'll be leaving tomorrow, no time to borrow. Hear me out, yeah, I do it all for you. Rise up, I've been to the fire, made it to the wire. I feel closer than I've ever been. Higher, I can feel the raindrops pouring, but I won't stop. No, don't forget me now. I'll be leaving tomorrow, no time to borrow. Hear me out, yeah, I do it all for you. Rise up, I've been to the fire, made it to the wire. I feel closer than I've ever been.
All right, dope. So, yeah, there's some things I think like could make this way more impactful as far as a remix goes. Now, I'm not really familiar with the original of this song, Rise Up. I don't know, Michael Jarrell. I don't know if it's Michael Jarrell is Motrix, but I'm not really familiar with the actual original song of this. But I'll tell you, like, to drop that dubstep snare right at the beginning, it's not really that effective, right? Like, you should save that dubstep snare drum, that clunk, you know, because that's just such an overused snare sound, especially like in dubstep and shit, that it's just so typical and cliche now that if you drop it, like, people are like, oh, okay. So, like, this part here, like, you're 10 seconds in.
But I won't stop, no.
Like, you shouldn't be giving away that snare. You should give away maybe like a rim shot or like a clap or something. And then when you go to the drop, you should release that kung, ding, kung, you know, the big snare, you know, drop thing. Because then you'll have more impact in this section. Also, music like this, when you do a remix, you really have to go pretty damn in detail with just automating stuff, like having stuff move all the time. And I feel like it's just too stagnant for a remix. Like, remixes have to really have that effect of like, yo, here's this like setting, and it's like this part, and then you have like another scene, and then you have another scene, and then you have another scene, and it just keeps like doing different stuff, and it keeps you really engaged. I also really love to hear remixes where you flip the rhythms, right? Like, so the vocals going da 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 da, and the drums are just like following that boom doom kuh, boom boom kuh, like just like halftime kind of vibe, right? I think if you kind of played around with it being a different rhythm, you know, like where the vocals doing one rhythm and the drums are doing like a drum and bass sort of thing, and then you do like, you know, where it's going and then it goes and drops to like the halftime, boom 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 boom. Like, you need stuff that's like really exciting and enticing. When you have just like a straight drum pattern on a remix, I just don't think you can do that anymore. I think that's like a early 2000s kind of vibe, maybe even 2010, you know, but 2021, you can't really get away with that for a remix. I'll show you a friend of mine that does this, and I also just kind of want to shout him out because I think he's really dope at remixes. But his name's Esper, his artist name is, and he used to work with me. He was like an intern with me. And he has like, I'll show you like the creative ways that he does drops, right? Like, this is really important.
believer of a love that's deeper. Ooh, temperature's evil, so why to deceive you? The love isn't equal. Take the key and lock my heart away. Tie me down, but you're in outer space. Darling, even if you're tied away, and nothing I could say to make you stay. Nothing I could say to make you stay.
Right, I just wanted to show you that drop and like how there's different like moments and sections, and that's just really like the style of music. You know, when you're doing remixes, and then when you listen to a drop like this, and I'm not trying to be a dick by comparing you to someone that really does remixes really well and makes that kind of music, but just listen to the effect of this and how different it is to what I just played you.
No time to borrow. Hear me out. Yeah, I do it all for
You know what I mean? Like you have to use like blank silence, right? Silence can be your friend when it comes to drops, when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like you could have had the bum bum ba-da-dum bum 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 bum, like that whole thing. You could easily change out that sound so it's not so typical, like a typical massive, you know, whoop 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 whoop, you know, wub kind of thing. You could also like go bum bum silence, right? Bum 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 silence. Like just cut everything out, mute everything, and have these really silent parts where it's like, whoa, instead of things going the whole time, the bass and all that. And I think that'll be a lot more effective. But that takes editing, and it takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes like going the next layer of the onion, next layer of the onion, next layer of the onion. And a lot of people just don't have that in music, right? That's why they won't get very far with music. Because you got to think of like, don't think about like, oh, I can't wait to put this song out. Think about like, how do I make this song the best thing that anyone's ever heard, and realize that when you put it out there, it's going to last forever, longer than you'll be alive. It'll last more than 100 years. It'll be out there in the ether and on the zeros and ones in the internet, on server spaces for the rest of eternity, right? So if you're just thinking about like you and how you want to like put a song out and please people and try to keep people listening to what you're doing, I think that you're kind of getting it wrong, you know? I mean, put out content, put out like teasers, put out stuff like that. But when you're putting out your music and your songs and your remixes, just make sure that they're the best shit that's ever happened to anybody, right? All right, let's move on. Sorry, guys, that was a little long-winded, but I wanted to get a point across because I think those are good like learning experiences for people producing and arranging. All right, so Mikey J skips a beat. Let's go. Yeah, I just want to say right away, like, this is the interesting thing about these live reviews is that you go like this world and then all of a sudden you're on the other side of the planet, you know, like, whoa, this is a totally different vibe.
The other day, I was walking through the park, looking round for a girl to make a spark. Then I saw you running past the lake, leaving all all the other boys sitting in your wake. When I see you walking down the street, you know my heart just skips a beat. The other night, you were dancing in the bar. I took a drink and watched you from afar. Then I saw you look this way at me. I felt those chains just break their way free. When I see you walking down the street, you know my heart.
Yeah, I love the vibe of this song, and it totally like gives me like some Beatles, you know, Yellow Submarine kind of vibes. Like there's a lot of really cool shit in here. But Mikey, like here's the thing, man, like this mix like is not it. Like the mix is not, if you want this song to stand out and be kind of that vibe and really be something that's special, you have to get this mixed by a professional. Like you need to get an engineer that understands what you're trying to do. Because the vocals are like kind of like in a different world than everything else. The drums are so tucked back that they just feel like just kind of noise in the background, right? Like they're like just like I want to feel those drums a little bit more. The guitar feels like completely just like disconnected from the song, which is kind of a vibe. That's kind of like a classic sound of like the 60s, I think. It's really like late 60s, almost 70s stuff, where you have like, you know, Jimi Hendrix even. Like when you listen to Hendrix records, like the guitars were always like, like they're just on their own, which is really cool. But for this, because it's just playing rhythm guitar, I feel like it can be glued into the mix a little bit more. And yeah, just like having just a better mix on this could make it a lot more exciting. It can make it something that's really kind of special and kind of timeless, you know, feel like a classic record. And this is actually an instance where you could use the panning technique that happened, you know, with the second song that I reviewed tonight, where you had the panning thing going on and it was like a 2000s kind of ska kind of record. Like you could do that panning thing here where you pan the drums left, hard left, and you have a guitar right, or vice versa. That could actually work. You know what I mean? But as far as this goes, like you have to tighten it up. It has to be glued together. It feels disconnected and a little old. Like it literally sounds like you recorded this in 1971. You know? And I'm very, very familiar with recording techniques. You know, I actually got to, you know, not to brag or anything, but I got to use Daniel Lanois, his whole mic collection. It was all vintage mics, M49s, U47s, U67s, just all sorts of crazy classic mics, C12, Sony C800Gs, and that's what I worked with for like 5 years, that mic collection, recording everything, right? And I just love that sound. I love that old school sound. I love that classic sound. I love tape. I love cassette from 80s, you know, like I love ADAT sounds. I like it all. And I think like, you know, this is the kind of stuff where you want to color with new crayons, meaning plugins and newer techniques and technology in the plugins. Like UAD plugins are kind of old school, but there's newer stuff. And then you can also color with the old school stuff, the Fairchilds, the 660s, the 670s, the, you know, the LA2As, 1176s, etc., and even the EMT stuff, right? The Abbey Road stuff, all that stuff is going to be really good on this kind of record, but I feel like it needs a modern polish on it, you know? Like you need modern techniques to maybe make this thing kind of stand out in a marketplace like today. And today you're competing with some heavy hitters, and you can actually make this kind of like a new vintage kind of vibe where it starts to become more of an indie record and less of like an oldies record. My opinion on that. So I think like really hiring the right mixing engineer that understands what you're doing. I'd be happy to take a listen to it and look at what you got in a Pro Tools session, Logic session, the stems, whatever. But you know, you just let me know, hit me up. Okay, so I'm gonna move on here. Richard Roosevelt, Innocent, let's go.
Sometimes I drink too much, sometimes I think too much. Throw it all out, but the kitchen sink too much. Life pass me by, cause it seem to blink too much. Try to get high so I don't sing too much. I've been on the brink too much. All out of sync, that's why we don't speak, why we don't link too much. Why we don't link too much, why we don't speak for months. Why you gotta bring shit up, why you gotta bring shit up. I ain't tripping, I'm just sitting sideways. Eyes glazed, which is why they sit behind shade. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-yippee-ki-yay. If you don't see it my way, then you can hit the highway. No, not a little bit, not even a little bit. No, I'm never giving it. I know that I'm magnificent. Feel just like a little kid, though I lost all my innocence. They try to take me down, they try to break me down. They try to fake me out, they can stop the faking now. Wonder how I'm making now, there's nowhere other making ground. See the dough that I'm making now, got a home and we're breaking ground. On the prowl I'm making rounds, hold on while I'm taking crowns. I've made the game my lady now, asses up while facing down. Oh, they all too vacant now, cause I'm the favorite now. They try to play it down, but I don't play around. I ain't tripping, I'm just sitting sideways. Eyes glazed, which is why they sit behind shade. Yippee-ki-yay, yippee-yippee-ki-yay. If you don't see it my way, then you can hit the highway. No, not a little bit, not even a little bit. No, I'm never giving it. I know that I'm magnificent. Feel just like a little kid, though I lost all my innocence. I know I'm far from innocent, cause
Okay, yeah, it's cool, man. Like, Richard, you always got, some really, really cool parts. I feel like maybe the biggest struggle that you have is putting all those parts together into one cohesive piece, and also just kind of taking a breath, like backing up for a second, like not having to say something the whole time. You got to have parts where you can let the beat ride, and you can like have like some ad-libs. Like, I want to hear more ad-libs. I want to hear more things that are going to like make this track more hype on the parts that are hype. Also, I don't think the hi-hat's working on this part. This feels really weird with a hi-hat going through it.
lay it down, but I don't play around. I ain't tripping, I'm just sitting sideways. Eyes glazed, which is why they sit behind shit.
Yeah, like, so both of these parts back to back feel like you need to pick one or the other to me. Like, which one's going to be the pre-chorus? Which one's the chorus? It's hard to tell, right? Like, so you got this part, and then you have this part, which both of these sound like pre-choruses to me.
Not even a little bit. No, I'm never giving it. I ain't tripping, I'm just sitting sideways. Eyes glazed. No, I'm never giving it. I know I'm far.
Right, and there's like, I'm having a hard time finding where that hook is. Where's that catchy part? Where's the part where you got the little melody thing, the repetitive thing. You have really cool like little sections that are like, yo, this could be a dope pre-chorus. Oh, this could be a dope pre-chorus too. Oh, this could be a dope intro. But then it's like, where's the chorus? Where's the hook? Another thing, dude, like, you're smashing the shit out of your drums. Like, your drums are just not hitting because like they're just being crushed to death. And I think the over limiting the drums, like understanding how to get drums to hit is a very hard one, man. Like, yeesh, it's a hard thing to learn. You got to really spend a lot of time in the studio with that shit. And yeah, like I think it's got a cool vibe. Like, I feel like you're really always on point with the vibes. Like, you have the vibes down. You just have to get a lot tighter and better with your arrangements, man. Like, it's like you're coming up with these really cool sections. And I think maybe something that could help you is just work with a co-writer, work with someone that like, or a producer, like if you're trying to produce yourself and do all this stuff yourself, sometimes it's hard to like step outside of yourself and go, what is that? Is that a pre-chorus? Is that a chorus? That could be better there or there. Like, a producer could easily just go, in Pro Tools, I would just like literally just chop this up and go, okay, that's cool. That's that. Now we need to write a hook, and here's where the drums come in. Here's where the hook idea should come in. Let's mess around with some melodies. Right. And just organize your thoughts, because your thoughts are kind of like, it's like, here's a section, here's another section, here's another section, and they're all cool, but they don't necessarily like work back to back together. And it's like, it feels like a bunch of pre-choruses and a bunch of bridges and a bunch of intros. And I'm like, where is this going? And then when it starts to go somewhere, it's like, then it goes back down to like something that takes you back down. But I want to go up, you know? I want to jump into a chorus, or I want to jump into a repetitive thing, or I want to jump into a melody or a hook. You know, that's kind of what I'm missing on this one. And yeah, just be careful with over compressing and smashing drums and shit, man. Like, cause your drums are just like getting clobbered. And easy way to like get rid of your drums getting clobbered is just back up off the attack. Like if you're attacking really hard on your compressor, you know, just back up off the attack. Like slow it down and then speed up on the release if you need to. Very, very simple technique to get your drums to hit a little bit harder. Let the transients through. All right. Hopefully that's helpful. If you like that, you know, throw a thumbs up, show some love. And you guys, you can join the Radium Roundtable where you could basically just skip the line every week. I think, yeah, let's see, man. What do you got? YCF the boss. Let's go. I'm going to hit you actually first because I saw that you became a member earlier. So I'll make sure I got you. Okay. Yeah, let's go. All right. So YCF the boss a little bit too.
Swag type music, bitch.
I pour a lot, not a little bit. I'm chasing guap, not a little bit. I want it all, not a little bit. I'll be at the top in a little bit. Swerving, speeding fast. Hope I don't crash, chasing the cash. I'm all in my bag, I got to it fast, and they got a man. I pour a lot, not a little bit. I'm chasing guap, not a little bit. I want it all, not a little bit. I'll be at the top in a little bit. Swerving, speeding fast. Hope I don't crash, chasing the cash. I'm all in my bag, I got to it fast, and they got a man. They all in their feelings, they all in their feelings. They hate that they feel us, They know that we winning, they know they can't stop us. They know that we fearless, standing on top it. Swag time forever, you know that we ignorant. Yeah, we hopping out popping. Gloss with extenders, we sending them shots. If you in the way, you get popped. Man, fuck the other side. If you ain't with us, die. Send them to the sky. Chop with the 50 drum. Hit him up and then he done. Shouldn't have played with us, you dumb. Swag tight, we up one. I pour a lot, not a little bit. I'm chasing guap, not a little bit. I want it all, not a little bit. I'll be at the top in a little bit. Swerving, speeding fast. Hope I don't crash, chasing the cash. I'm all in my bag, I got to it fast, and that got a man. I pour a lot, not a little bit. I'm chasing guap, not a little bit.
Dope, dude. I really like the bounce. It reminds me of the Bay. You know, I spent a good 4 years in the Bay, East Bay, Berkeley, Oakland, Alameda. So I understand this shit like pretty heavy. You know, work with G-Eazy, Marty Grimes, who else? Neff the Pharaoh. Yeah, a bunch of people from the Bay. I don't even remember all their names. But anyway, what I really like about this track is the bass synth. I think that is probably the home run for you here. Like, you really spend a lot of time on that. Now, here's what you got to do. You got to take that bass synth and you got to get everything to the level of that bass synth, because the drums just not hitting like the bass synth. The vocals are not hitting like the bass synth. So I think a lot of your issues with this track is mix issues. But things to spruce it up, give us some more ad-libs on the hook. I do love that you're repetitive on the hook. Like, that's super important. When you come back to that line, you know, like you're doing it here, I think, showing the melody.
I pour a lot, not a little bit. I pour a lot, not a little bit. I'm chasing.
Right, so important to like have repetitive lines in this style of music, especially like pop, hip hop, trap, you know, bass slaps, all that stuff. You know, the bounce stuff, like it has to have repetitive lines in it. So even when you come in on the verse, like, you know, flipping that shit where you come in with like, you know, reusing that line. I did this for love, not a little bit, but you know, like you can actually like throw those little licks within the verses. But I think the chorus needs more like ad-libs, more hype. I like what you're doing on the high stuff in the back, but it's just like a little too over auto-tuned and just weird. Just kind of feels too robotic. I think you can do something where it's a lot more organic and it feels more like a crowd, more like fun and like party and like, you know, the homies, like people are hanging out, having a house party or whatever. With the whole like, you know, the little bit kind of stuff in the back. It's just weird. I think it's too robotic. But yeah, man, like I think this slaps. I think really the biggest thing that this could use is a mix and master. And honestly, like something like this, I would smash this out of the park. Your vocals aren't right. They're kind of just muffly and weird, and it's like just doesn't sound like a record yet. So I think you could definitely get it there. Like you gotta know what you're doing, you know? Like this takes an ear. Like I can hear it. I know exactly what I would do with this record. But it does need a really good mix and master. Like if you want this shit to hit, you want the drums to smack, you want the vocals to be up front and be star power. Like that's how I like to put it. Like if you want a record to have star power, you don't mix it yourself. You don't have the homie mix it for $100. You don't do the waves cracks and try to fucking make something work. Okay, I'm just telling you, it just never will work. You'll be like, yeah, I got this thing. It's like, yeah, it still sounds like a demo. But otherwise, like, dude, it's a great start. Like you got a good track. Like now make like 10 more of those and then pick like 5 or 3 and get them mixed and mastered and drop an actual project. I think that would be my best piece of advice to you. T8 Eddie, where do I get the upload link? Yeah, so you got to be on the mailing list, but I see that you joined the roundtable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my personal email here and you can drop it to me right away. Yo, Motrix, my man, I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. When you drop the super chat money, it means a lot to me. $5 goes a long way when you're on here, just like, you know, spend an hour of your time just trying to help. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Now I can get another coffee. I got to stay up and work, man. I'm always working. Yeah, mixing yourself is cool. You should learn how to mix a little bit. But, bro, like, mixing for me is a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been mixing, like, a majority of my life. Like, think about that. Like, it's been 23 years of mixing and mastering. I have plugins. Like, I have tens of thousands of dollars in plugins. Maybe over $100,000 in plugins and sounds. Like, it's serious for me. I take it very, very seriously. But anyway, yes, shoot that over to me, Teddy. I think it's Teddy. T8 Eddie. Yo, what's up? Lorenzo, how you doing, bro? Always good to see you on here. All right, so while I'm waiting on Teddy, I'm gonna hit this Richly Bent making love, baby. You guys ready for some love making? Is it Saturday night already? Come on, guys, it's hump day. Let's roll.
You and me, baby. You and me, baby. Now it's time for the lights to go down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Said I wanna hear you make all this freaky sound. Oh, oh, oh. Like it when you on top of me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pull your hair, then you call me daddy. 'Cause you know when I get home, you coming out that phone. We gonna get it on all night, all night. Yeah. Oh, when we making love all night, making love. When we're making love, making love. When we're making love, making love.
All right, so for me, where this comes up short is the sounds, right? The sounds just are like super boom 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 boom. Like the drum sounds are whack, right? Like you guys, if you picked up the Logic Pro pack or the Pro Tools pack that I sell, okay? I've included so many great samples in there. If you guys haven't got our drum kits, you're just missing out. Like I could literally open this session, replace them with the drum kits that we have, that we've made, and it'd be 10 times better, just this track. Because because this kind of stuff, this soul, this funk, this R&B stuff, it needs good sounds. It needs modern sounds. You can't be using these kind of sounds. It just sounds old. And if you're going for that, like if someone's like, yo, we want to sync license a song that sounds old. We want to make an old sound. We want it to sound like it came from 1994, you know? Then cool, you're on point here. But if you're trying to make something more modern and that works with the radio, with Spotify, with Apple Music, with streaming services, with platforms nowadays that are built to make sure that people are listening to stuff that is cool and relevant, and it'll just take this kind of stuff and just dig it down. Like it'll just blacklist it. Basically, it just doesn't show it to anybody. Because people are like, yo, what is this? This is old school, you know? Unless this is old school. Like, I don't know, maybe you released this in 1995 or something like that. But that's what it kind of feels like to me. It feels like really, really old. And even the mix and the master on it is just like old. It just doesn't sound new. It doesn't sound flashy enough, you know? It's not going to capture people's attention. I like the groove. I like the vocals are pretty strong, but it's really hard to tell because the mix is so muffled and the vocals are so muffled. I really think that you could just open this up with a good mix. I think that's really what I would do, and I'd switch out some of the sounds. I'd modernize the sounds. I'd modernize the drums. I try to get like an actual live bass player, like that has a really great pocket that can go like bend notes and shit and add some soul to this, because the drums feel like really, really, you know, like they're just very robotic, quantized, and so is the bass, which just kind of takes away from the R&B. Like it's rhythm and blues, right? You have to make sure you're pushing and pulling and you're swinging and you have a really nice feel to that atmosphere, man. It's really, really important. Yeah, live would be way better. Agreed. Motrix has got it. Like live bass, you know, getting those drums to really smack in like pocket, like an MPC kind of groove, you know, that kind of vibe. Yeah, the drums is hella weak, man. Like you can't put out a record like that. Nowadays, you just get eaten up. People be like, what is this shit? You know, if you're going to put out a record that has throwback feel, cool, put a throwback feel on it. But you got to do it right, or else people are going to be like, nah, I don't fuck with this. All right, here we go. We got, I still don't see it from Teddy here. But let's see. Let's go Will Smith here. We got a music video. That's what's up. Let's go.
Tell me what's in the back of your mind. Can't let life drive you insane. Park the curb while your pains. It's only you that I let slide up in my lane. Exit on the dash, I can't pass up. Make sure you get this QT, I ain't gon' gas you up. You be the only vibe when we in a full club. Baby, you be the type, have me run all the red lights to you.
Let me spend my time on you. Girl, I got my eye on you. You gon' make me slide on you. Baby, come on, slide on through. Let's slide, 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 woke up to a fat ass and a pretty face. Chocolate skin, melanin, and a teeny waist. Listen, I'm about to blow like any day. If you tell a nigga slide, then I'm on the way. Don't you hesitate, cause I need that cake. If it tastes good, put it on my plate. Girl, I'm from the west, that's a dangerous place. If you bout that life, we can do the race. I need a sweet, 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 baby, I'm outside. I'm going deep, 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 look me in my eyes. I'm from the streets, you know the deep, are you down to ride? We gon' freak, sleep, repeat, every time I slide. Let me spend my time on you. Girl, I got my eye on you. You gon' make me slide on you. Baby, come on, slide on through. Let's slide, 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 slide,
Hey, I'm trying to slide it out the function though.
slide.
Hey, I'm trying to. Hold on. Hey, can I walk with you? Baby, you function on the east, come hit the other side. You tryna make it off the D, I'm on your type of time. Can you slide? I'm outside. Leo baggage at the crib, that's a vibe, but don't talk about it. This life I live, can't talk about it. They saying I killed the pussy, but a nigga left talk around it. Tell your homegirl don't walk around it. Actually, don't tell her nothing. She making assumptions, I ain't gon' never expose you. I'm just gonna hang your roses, capture your post face.
Let me spend my time on you. Girl, I got my eye on you.
Dope, dude. Thanks for shooting over a music video, man. It's always much more fun to actually watch something, you know? But yeah, man, like I think overall, like the song is sounding really good. I think like the master is kind of weird for me. Like I think it's probably because the bass, there's like so much bass that it kind of feels like it's really smashed and really small. So that's just one thing that's kind of bugging me. But it's also because when you master something really, really hard, what YouTube and what Spotify and what anything does is it actually turns it down, right? So what you can do is you can go to, let's see, there's like a loudness. Yeah, here we go. Loudness penalty. So if you go to this website, it's called Loudness Penalty, and it's an analyzer. And you just drag and drop an audio file, right? Like, for example, if I take, like anything, right? Like, let's find my record, I guess, my latest record here. All right, so if I take my actual, like, master here, and I drag and drop it to this, and this is, like, a great tool for you guys. You should use it. And it processes the audio, right? And then what it does is it tells you how much the different platforms will turn it down or turn it up, right? So on YouTube, it'll turn it down 6.1 dB. So it's going to take what you have like mastered and how loud you got it, right? The platforms don't give a shit. They're going to turn it down because if it's too loud and it's like people, they don't want people to have like, yo, here's a quiet record, and then all of a sudden, like, here's a really loud thing that they play on YouTube, right? So that's why they do this. So Spotify, 6.1, Tidal, iTunes turns it down even more, right? Deezer turns it down even more. Pandora won't turn it down as much, right? So this is like something you guys have to understand. You have to understand that when you're doing like really loud masters and you're like, yo, I got it so loud, like, that was the reason people got loud records and why we made loud records back in the days and why we limited the fuck out of shit is because we went to CD, right? And if you put a CD in at the record label or the publisher and they're like, play the song, and they go, oh, it's pretty good. And then they play the next song and that CD is louder, they think it's automatically better, right? And that's what you guys are still doing. You're trying to master your shit really loud. But the truth is like when you play that, you could just hear how smashed it is. You can hear all the dynamics getting smashed, and you can hear the low end is just like super, super heavy. But the problem is like that's not how you mix and master. You have to mix and master into stuff. So pay attention, like when you're listening to this, how smashed it sounds.
Tell me what's in the back.
If you tell a nigga slide, then I'm on the way. Don't you hesitate, cause I need that cake. If it tastes good, put it on.
Right? It's just, it sounds like it's getting really, really smashed, like it's getting compressed too much. And what ends up happening is if you make a really, really loud mix and master and you're not paying attention to the platforms, you're not paying attention to where it's going, then like what you should do, Will, is you should upload that song right here and see how much it's going to turn it down. And I guarantee you that song's going to be turned down like probably 8 to 10 dB. And that makes the song sound smaller because it's not loud anymore. It's just turned down. It's just smashed to death. So just be careful with that. That's the one thing I notice a lot that's happening with artists right now is that they're like thinking that they got to make it loud, make it loud, make it loud, make it loud. You got to limit it. You got to put it up on Lander, and then Lander crushes it even more. And then what really happens is like, the louder you made your master, the smaller it's going to sound on Spotify, okay? Because you're basically taking all of your shit and you're just like leveling it all out. And then Spotify's turning it down. So anything you got out of loudness where people go like, oh, it sounds good and loud, it doesn't matter because they're going to listen to it on these platforms and they're going to go, sorry, We don't care, right? So it's really important that you really understand that. So anyways, guys, I'm past an hour, but I wanted to see, do you guys want me to play my latest record, like something that I've mixed and mastered and I'm going to be putting out in I think October 1st. If you want to, you can hear it. I'll play it right now for you. It's not released yet. But of course, like, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want this to be about me showing you my music. I want this to be about your music, but I'll play it if you want. Otherwise, I got to get out of here. But let me know if you guys want to hear the new record I'm going to be dropping in October, which I think it's going to be October 1st. We made it through all the songs today. That was sweet. You guys had some good stuff. I'm excited about it. All right. Will Smith says yes. If Will Smith says yes, then I'm down to play it. All right. So this one's called The After All. And like I said, I'm going to be dropping it, I think, October 1st or end of September. I don't know. But here it is. And I produced this, wrote it, sang on it, basically everything on it, mixed it, mastered it, and hope you guys dig it. Let me know what you think.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone.
is the track. It's coming out October 1st. You guys can pre-save it now if you want to. If you want to show some love. I appreciate you guys coming out. I really, really appreciate you guys just uploading good music and, you know, allowing me to kind of help you out, you know, be your mentor, help you get better music, all that good stuff. Always appreciate you guys subscribing, dropping comments, dropping likes, and just helping the channel grow. Like, we spend a lot of time doing this stuff, and we do it for free. Like, we don't get paid for this. It's just kind of fun, and it's like something I love doing. I love helping people out. And obviously, like when you're in the studio for 15 hours a day, it's good to take an hour break and just kind of hang out with you guys. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming through on a Wednesday. And yeah, have a good night. Peace.